everybody. It's been so long since I've done a voiceover. Well, it feels like it's been a long time anyway. I thought I would share with you how I did my journal cover. I had it on Instagram, how I did the face, and I extended the hair, and I was trying to decide whether to leave it just plain black or to add a quote in it. And there were mixed opinions on that, and I loved it both ways. And I did end up adding the quote. But anyway, I thought I would share the process here on YouTube. So I did the image transfer, which is I just printed the photo on some photo paper, just using my inkjet printer at home. And you don't have to print it on photo paper. You can print it on just regular printer paper as well. Both work. It gave a really distressed look, which I love. Like you can see how parts of the images are... It didn't transfer completely. And I'm trying to think, what did I know I have a video where I'm doing the transfer on something else, and I go into more detail. Oh, it's the cover of my 100-day project video for 2024. I show how I did an image transfer onto the cover using, and I tried both ways, with photo paper and with regular paper. So if you want more on the image transferring, you can watch that video. And I will try to remember to link it down below. So you can see once I had my image down, I covered it with a clear gesso. This was so I could protect the image. And it also helps too, like, I find things like if you do an oopsie, like you're not going to be able to get rid of everything. But sometimes you can, if you're quick enough, you can wipe it off, or at least most of it off. And plus, I just really wanted to protect that image. You also saw me add, I think it was acrylic glazing medium. That was just to thin out the paints a little and extend them. And the colors I'm using here, and try to remember. I know that's quinacridone magenta, but I'm not sure if I mixed the other two. It looks like a Payne's gray, so it could be straight Payne's gray, or I mixed colors to get that color. But I mean, close enough colors would be Payne's gray, yellow ochre, and quinacridone magenta. So to add a little more interest, I decided to use some Stencil Girl stencils. And I'm sorry, but I don't have the names for most of my Stencil Girl stencils, actually. I know I got some when I was with Gel Press, and like it was a collaboration, and when they sent us the stencils, it didn't come with the packaging. So there was no name on the stencil. Because usually, especially now, like I've learned my lesson, I didn't used to always keep the packaging there for a while. I was throwing it out. But I do see how I'm going to wipe this paint off her face now. If I hadn't added the gesso on top of the image, I would not have been able to do that. But anyways, when they sent us the stencils, the package wasn't included. Therefore, I do not have the names. But I love how that turned out there. And you see bits of it in the end, like not everything. Like I love that part up in the upper left corner, but you don't really see it. It gets covered with her hair. But oh well, I love that looking at it now, but I also love the end project, so I can't be too upset. Yeah, all this ends up getting covered up because I decide to extend her hair. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't have anything set out that I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to make a cover and I wanted to use that image. And that was all I knew. So my thought here, though, was that the way that stencil is curved and everything, I thought I could make it like a part of her hair, like extending the hair upward, but it just being the stencil and it would just look like her hair was up further. But once I stamped it, it didn't really have that look that I was going for. And I really didn't like the straight line I got on that left side there where I just tried to cover it up. So it didn't work out exactly as I had planned. And this is where I go. And first I think I'm just trying to make the hair darker, and then I decide to, see, I'm just following along the initial hair, and it just ends up extending as I go. I didn't get all the hair in the front when I did the image transfers, so I extended that on purpose. Well, I did it all on purpose. It was just, I had fully intended to do the front because I didn't get it all. And then it was just, I think I was just going to outline the stencil. And then that turned into just doing the whole thing. Let's see. I'm curious myself now. Yeah, see, I was just planning on outlining the top of the stencil to try to incorporate it into the hair. And it was like, yeah, that's not looking good. So then I colored it in. See, I'm thinking about it and I'm going for it. And I love how her hair looks, like how it looks huge. It makes her look even like more quirky and stuff, but in a cool way. I'm just trying to get more stenciling in the background. The problem with it is that I really wanted the lines of the stencil. I didn't want the open space, so that's why I was using my gel plate. So I put the paint down, then the stencil, remove the paint in the spaces. Then when you remove the stencil, you have like the print of the stencil on your gel plate, which is the print I wanted. And you can see a lot of it there on the left side. But when I look at my cover now, I don't see a whole lot of it. And I noticed too when I was editing the video, there's some on the end that, well, it's missing. There's a chunk of the video just not there. So I don't know. See, I didn't like the green. I really thought I was going to love green gold with it, but I didn't. So I ended up going with the teal. Yeah, I don't know if I had thought I hadn't been recording it, so I didn't bother recording the rest, or if I've lost the footage. I don't know, because sometimes I make things and I don't record it. Like sometimes I just want to be free of having to do it for others. Like, you know what I mean? Not that my art is for everybody else, but sometimes I don't want to have to worry about the camera and if I'm in shot or how long I'm taking, that kind of stuff. Sometimes I just like to create and not have to worry about it being something like a video to share. So maybe like I know it had sat for a day or so before I finished it, so I don't know if I forgot that I actually had been recording it. It's very likely. I mean, you know, it is me. So what I'm doing here, I'm actually filling in the open spaces from the stencil. And then sometimes I'm just creating some that kind of look like what the open spaces would be like, because I wanted a bit more. And it really has no rhyme or reason. Like, it doesn't look like anything, but I don't know. I like the look of it. And it doesn't have to have a purpose. And then to add more dimension, I added a bit of white to my teal to lighten it up a bit. And I went inside, leaving an outer ring of the original teal color, just to give it a little more dimension. I had thought about going in for a third time, like lightening it up even more and doing like another inner part of it, but I just left it at the 2 shades. So I'll tell you now what I did without recording it, or the missing footage anyway. Once I was done all the painting, so I'm looking at my cover now so I can see what I didn't get. I went in with some modeling paste and some stencils just to add a bit of texture to the background. And I added some Tim Holtz. He has this foundry wax or something. I added some of that on there because I wanted to highlight the texture that I put on there with the gel medium or modeling paste or whatever it is I used. And that was pretty much it. And then when everything was done and dry, like I really wanted to make sure my quote was dry because I didn't want the paint pen smudging. I went in with some Dorland's wax and covered the whole thing. The whole idea was to protect the cover because where it is a journal, like it's going to get... Sorry, I'm touching it now. That's the background noise you're hearing. It's going to get messed up a little. Like, because if it sits on my island and like right now, like you see that Ranger craft mat underneath. So if I have my book open and I'm working on pages inside, that cover is going to be touching all that dried paint and everything. And yes, the paint is dry, but sometimes it's still like it clings to whatever you're putting down, especially if there's a little bit of, not stickiness to it, but I don't know. Anyways, it happens because I can see it on my cover already. So I was thinking the Dorland's wax would protect it, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I thought it was going to give it like a... I don't know how to describe. Like it's a wax, so I thought it would give it this cool look. Like, I don't know. I thought it would do something to it, but it really didn't. I can feel it on there though. Like it has this feel, but I thought it would kind of give it... I keep wanting to say leathery look, but I don't know if that's the right word I'm going for. But I don't know. For now, I'm leaving it, but I can see specks on my cover, like from it being on my craft mat with that little bits of paint. So like some of that dried paint, like speckles of it will stick to my cover. So anyway, that is my cover, and I have added a picture of the finished project for you. If you have any questions, just drop them down below and I will do my best to answer them for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.